Before this video starts, I want to give shoutouts to two amazing players who deserve way more recognition. First shoutout goes to my boy Happy, who is getting incredibly close to beating Special Rend, which you might know from the fact that it's really fucking hard. He streams pretty consistently and is overall a really great player, so go subscribe to him or die! The second shoutout goes to someone who is basically a superhuman, Hilo. Why is he a superhuman? Because he beat Celestial Force on mobile. A top 10 demon beaten on a fucking phone. What? So anyway, y'all should subscribe to Hilo right now for more superhuman demon completions. Okay, that's all. Time for the video. Everyone, hello. So today I'm going to be looking back at some of my old videos and giving updated takes on them. Enjoy. This was my first ever tutorial and also my first ever good video, as I label them. Now, to be fair, it is a decent tutorial, but the video is all over the place. The text doesn't have an outline, editing is pretty bad overall, and my teachings are very narrow and badly explained, and overall the video quality is kinda low. But for my first tutorial, it's overall pretty decent in my opinion. It was also the first video I ever made that reached 1k views, which is nice. Now, this is a very controversial video and one that I really want to talk about. It was my first video for which I actually thought about shit for, and it certainly is visible as I was only able to come up with two theories about the topic. The first one was really obvious and common knowledge at the time, and the second one is literally nothing but a coincidental pattern recognition with no basis on reality. Though the second theory also seems to actually be coming true, so all in all, I'm not proud of that video. If I saw someone else make something like this nowadays, I would think that it's kinda charming to see people trying out better content, but it would still not at all be a good video, as it doesn't have much more thought beyond the obvious in it, and the editing is weird. Like, I used like 5 different fonts in the video, what the fuck? I still consider this one of my best videos ever. I gave actual remarks about the levels, even if they were pretty obvious, and I actually did some research to find all the levels I talked about. Though I would still do some stuff different, like add Cataclysm there and remove Toxin Lab 2, but overall I actually still like this video. It's a shame that it only got 150 views though. Now this. It's a decent video, I guess. I mean, I did some fine research for it, but as some of you guys might know, the video's original title was Top 5 GD bugs that only old players will remember. Which was heavily criticized because, let's be honest, 2.0 and 1.9 aren't that old. Also, I had misremembered stuff like what update the barrel roll glitch was fixed in, and I apparently should have put a bigger disclaimer that these bugs are patched because I get comments on the daily complaining that the demon completion bug doesn't work. Like, fucking seriously guys, stop asking me why the bugs don't work anymore. Ah! Now we're getting to the reason I made this video in the first place. So here we are, at this video which surprisingly only blew up this year. Like seriously, it only had a few hundred views last year and now it's at almost 200k. But I digress, so here's a copy paste of what I wrote on the video's description. The conclusion I reached was based on my opinions at that time. Nowadays I firmly believe TOE2 to be easier, and I would actually say that Globster vs Deadlocked would be a better comparison. But of course, to be honest, comparisons shouldn't be made as a level's difficulty is completely dependent on the skills of an individual. If you look at the comments of this video, you see that many people that are good at the ship think Globstep is easier and those who are not think TOE2 is easier. It's a debate that cannot be won as some people are better in some things and others in other things. To get a more accurate rating of each level, you would have to get tons of players to give their opinion on the same level and it still won't be a perfect ranking. This is the reason the demon list has all the drama about level placements, because it is impossible to get a solid objective ranking on 2 levels of around the same difficulty. Of course, ranking levels objectively is possible, but it requires the levels to be really similar and have a noticeable difficulty difference, like for example that Problematic is clearly easier than Sonic Wave. But that's not fun to rank obvious stuff like that now, is it? I still mostly do agree with myself. Ultimate Destruction remakes should not be rated because that is completely unfair to everyone else with a rated version. Sonic Wave remakes, even nerfed, should be rated if they're good. Star rating should be used more and epic should be given to actually epic levels. Though there's one thing I disagree with nowadays, and that's my point about V2 levels. We don't need hundreds of rated Stereo Madness remakes, especially if they aren't even decorated. Otherwise I still agree with this video. Here we are! The most controversial thing I've ever made. And it's just a fucking layout. One other thing I made for fun could give me a fuck ton of stress and almost make you depressed. Fucking yay! Let's talk about this. First off, no clip. The first thing that everyone loves to point out. The infamous 37 seconds into the video where it appears that I'm going through a spike. Now guys, I could no longer give a single fuck about this. It's a debate that I've gone through hundreds of times and I'm tired of it. It wasn't hacked, but I don't care if you don't believe me because it genuinely looks like it was no clip and I don't give enough fucks about it to try to prove its hitboxes. There's also this part where it appears that my wave went through a block, but I actually have an explanation for this. As you can see, when a wave goes off a block that it can stand on, the trail doesn't set a new starting point for it, it just rotates back to point at the wave, which at high speeds looks like you just straight up went through a block. Also about the fidget spinner, I was too lazy to make the rotation correct, so I just made the hitbox smaller. Now, secondly, my favorite word to hate, rip-off! The good old fashioned, this is a God Eater, Glowy, Erebus, Bold Step, Quasar, and whatever else rip-off! Guys, curved flying was not invented by God Eater. It was popularized by it, but just like straight flying wasn't first used in Bloodbath, curved flying is not at all unique to God Eater. Quasar either isn't the inventor of curved flying. Curved flying has always been there from the very start. It has simply evolved towards becoming a specialized gameplay part, just like straight flying. To be honest, this community is way too fixated on originality. If your level can even remotely be connected to something else, like if you have a 3-second angled flying part at the end of your level, it's immediately being called a ripoff. If you aren't a big player, you can't make anything inspired by something else without it being mindlessly labeled as a ripoff. You guys wanna know something? I've been on the verge of deleting this video multiple times because of all the stress it has given me. If you look at my comments in that video, you can basically see me go from happy to angry to depressed to angry to depressed to angry to fuck this. I actually loved the layout before the video blew up and I was going to decorate it, but can you imagine the stress of building a 2-minute level that has and will get stupid people screaming at you for its existence? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this was made for views. After the first curve video I made, I thought that hey, curves get views, what about a loop? And thus I made this, which was honestly a giant mistake. Just like with a layout with a lot of slopes and curve flying, this was poorly made, which led to its comment section being absolutely cancerous. For example, many people just straight up didn't believe that this was real and said that it's fake. And guys, it's not fake, completely. Because I actually looped the video. The robot actually went around only 3 times, but I looped it to go around more for comedic effect. I mean, I have now made an infinite curved loop, but back during this video I wasn't nearly creative enough to do that shit. Anyway, in all honesty, I like making curved videos, even though I have to admit that they are mostly for views. I mean, they do have innovative stuff in them, like Line Rider in GD and actually going in circles, but they are honestly bad videos overall. Still, I can't promise you that I'll stop making them because money. Alright, final video to discuss today. First off, I want to say something. I sincerely hope that 2.2 will never ever come out. It's something I sincerely hope that I had never ever said. Because in all honesty, I'm more on the side of meh to this. I'll sure be excited if 2.2 comes out, but I can also easily live without it. Like I said in my first video, I am hyped for multiplayer mode, but I know that you would all ask this if I didn't say it. I still think that the control mechanic is completely unnecessary and stupid. In all honesty, most of my points I said in my 2 videos, and especially the first one, were really made in the heat of the moment. I was most likely just still in shock that this feature had actually been added and thus made a video that was way too harsh and badly made. And in all honesty, why am I worrying about bad gameplay when I play levels like only once a month and make horrific gameplay myself, justifying it as I'm a creator, not a player. My biggest mistake in the video though was trying to present it as if it was an objective fact, because let's be honest, most of it was opinionated. And also wrong. Ultra game levels and the new control mechanic would more likely be separated into two different categories, with people still making classic ultra game levels along with people making levels using the control mechanic. The feature is indeed optional, so why should I worry? Actually, all of the controversial features of 2.2 like camera controls and going backwards are optional. And to be honest, I don't see myself using either beyond a single section of the level. One thing that I found kinda odd was the amount of people being angry at me for the Minecraft comparison. Like, I'm pretty sure they missed the point entirely. I wasn't saying GD and Minecraft are similar games, I was saying they were both reaching a point where you could pretty much stop updating the game any further, and it will feel like it's a complete game without any big missing features. I even said in the video, I know, these are very different games. So how did you guys miss that? All in all, I still think that the control mechanics should be a separate game, but if it's released in GD, I'm fine with that. And to those of you who now think that I'm stupid because I was wrong in my two videos, hey, at least I admit it. Alright, there it was. Went through some of my old videos and talked a bit about them. I mostly made this video so I could focus on some of the more controversial videos I've made, like a layout with a lot of slopes and curve flying, and I hope you enjoyed. Next video will most likely have something to do with building in GD, so stay tuned for that. See ya!